I'm going to introduce our next speaker. That is James Griffin. James is a dynamic small business leader, retired Navy commander, and small business growth expert with a passion for helping entrepreneurs succeed. With 24 years of executive leadership spanning military, business, and nonprofit sectors, James brings a wealth of experience in strategic growth, financial management, and operational excellence. His expertise in leading high-stakes operations, managing multi-million and billion-dollar budgets, and training teams worldwide makes him a sought-after speaker for small business owners looking to scale and thrive in competitive markets. As the president and founder of JM Pro Consulting, James provides expert online advertising solutions and business growth strategies to small businesses across the USA. From local service providers to industry specialists, he has helped entrepreneurs generate more leads, maximize their marketing ROI, and build sustainable businesses. His ability to translate corporate-level strategies into actionable steps for small business owners sets him apart as a trusted advisor in the space. A retired Navy commander and decorated military pilot, James led complex, high-risk aviation missions around the world, including combat deployments to Afghanistan, humanitarian relief efforts in Haiti, and operations across the Mediterranean and Arabian Gulf. As a commander of the Navy Reserve Center in Springfield, Missouri, he led 200 service members supporting global missions. James has been a trusted advisor to U.S. ambassadors, senior military leaders, and government officials, shaping policies and leading initiatives that have brought global impact. He served as the executive director of a national security course at the National Defense University in Washington, D.C., where he led strategic training programs for nearly 1,000 military, interagency, and multinational professionals. Beyond business, James is deeply committed to community service. He served as president of Light the Way Ministries Board of Directors from 2022 to 2024, helping expand its reach and impact. He's an elected Board of Education member in Ozark, Missouri, 2024 to the present, dedicated to shaping the future of education. A husband and father of 3, he also volunteers at his church, other nonprofits, and leads small groups. James F. Griffin is a proven leader with a mission to equip small business owners with the tools, strategies, and mindset needed to achieve lasting success. His presentations are actionable and rooted in real-world experience, giving attendees the knowledge and confidence to take their businesses to the next level. I present to you Mr. James R. Griffin. F. Griffin.
All right, well, thank you very much. And what is the one thing that most businesses have in common? And I would argue that most nonprofits have this in common as well. We'll all take more customers. And I would argue that whether you're a local, hair salon, barber, all the way up to Apple, if we had a line of customers waiting at your door, you would take them. It might have another problem that some of the other speakers could talk about, but that problem is one thing that we all have in common. We would all take those customers. And so really the issue is, how do you get those customers? Where do those customers come from? How do you get those? That's what we'll be talking about today. Let's see, she just talked a lot about me, so I won't talk any more about that. But my background is military, executive leadership, and really most of the strategies that I'll be talking about today are really the proven strategies we've used for customers for the last 8 years. And so nothing I'm talking about today is something we're making up. So, okay. So back to the problem is, how do you get those customers? First off, what I'd like you to think about is put yourself in your customer's shoes. The last speaker kind of talked about this, but think about, how do your customers actually find your product or service? And if you go and look for your product or service online or wherever it is, can you find yourself? And what does that look like to you? That will give yourself some insights into how your customers feel about your product or service. Can you find them? And then, here's a couple examples. If we had time, we would kind of do a little interaction, but think about, I know we have lunch here coming up soon, but how would you find a restaurant nearby? Or how would you find a great, place for dinner, something like that? So think about that. You could actually do it, pull it up. Where's an auto shop nearby? My car is acting up. Where would I find this? How would I get that answer? Another question is, my wife has an issue with her hair. You know, she needs a great hair salon. Where can she go? So we could go on and on and on with this, but where would you typically find this answer? And I will tell you, it's probably not the Yellow Pages or mailers. Now, if anybody uses these and it works for you, okay, good. But you know, I actually got this in the mail. I'm surprised they still use this. And there's actually some ads in here. I'm not sure if anybody's using those ads, but usually what I do when I get this in the mail or mailers is I just put it right in the trash. But I kept it for today. And so just think about that. Think about, where are your customers actually looking for you? Well, they Google it, right? Hopefully everybody knows this, but still some people are using those things too. So they Google it, or you know, so they're looking on Google search or Google Maps. We're going to talk about that today, what those two kind of mean. Now, here's another thing I want you to think about is, you could talk about this out loud, you know, maybe later. Talk about your favorite brand, or you could search for it online. So, you know, whether it's a car brand or shoe brand, let's say BMW out loud. Let's say Nike shoes or some other brand. You know, do that later on, and we'll see what happens. And then search for this. I don't know. I picked out a random thing that maybe no one's doing, but search for RV dealers near me. And the point I want to make here is that chances are good, and you've probably experienced this, that later on you might get an ad on Facebook. Why? Because Facebook is listening to you. And Facebook knows more about you than you know about yourself. In fact, Facebook knows about 52,000 data points on you, and it's growing every single day. If you do those things I just told you about, now it knows that you're looking for BMWs or Nike shoes or whatever it is. So that is creepy, but it's also very powerful for you as a local organization, as a business owner, the fact that now, oh, Facebook has this data, I can use it. And it's actually pretty simple to understand, to use. So now let's talk about this. You know, there's a lot of reasons why we could argue, but why do most small businesses fail? And maybe it's for other organizations too that need revenue for nonprofits. I would love to hear answers, but maybe you coming up with this yourself, and think about why would it be for you? My answer would be that not enough people know about you. You know, I would assume that you have a good product or service. If you follow the last presenter's guidance, you should have that. So hopefully you have a good product or service, but it's not the economy, it's not inflation, it's not the time of year. It's simply failing to advertise. And this is something I hear a lot. Well, oh, it's this time of year, it's a bad season. Drive down the street, you're gonna see people spending money every day. So it's none of those things, it's just simply failing to advertise. This might be the most critical piece for a lot of people here. So now, how do you currently get customers? Think about that, and think about how most small businesses get customers. And if I were to ask you that, you may come up with this answer. This is an answer I hear just about every time I talk to a business who is looking to advertise. So this answer really goes along with those that are not advertising, and it's word of mouth or referrals. And don't get me wrong, word of mouth and referrals are great. We all want that. We want people talking about our business, talking about it, and giving referrals. But it's not something that you can turn up one day. You can't simply say, hey, let's get 100 more word of mouth this week or referrals this week. We'd love to do that, but we can't. Well, there's no switch for that. And in fact, when we're going back to that Apple has a lot of word of mouth. Everybody knows about Apple, so why would they advertise? They're spending millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, I think, on advertising. So think about them, and granted, we can't spend that much, but there's some ways we can kind of level the playing field to get our product out there. So now what we're going to talk about are really the keys that I would argue are the ways to attract customers and increase revenue for your business or your nonprofit. So here's a couple things I hope you'll learn today. Hopefully you already have your revenue goal down, but if not, we'll quickly go through that. Number of leads to hit that goal. So everybody has a goal ideally, but how do you actually get there? Are you doing the right steps to get there? Most people need leads to get there, and then the strategies to get those leads. So we'll kind of backtrack down there. Now bear with me, we're gonna do a little math during this lesson. So what's your business growth goal? What I want you to think about in terms of business growth, it could be yearly, it could be quarterly, but if we take it down to the monthly level, and then even down to the daily, weekly level, it will kind of help you identify leads that you need. So if we're talking about a kind of a brick and mortar store, brick and mortar business, how many more customers do you want per day, week, or month? If you had the monthly, that's okay, but let's just think in terms of per day. And then how many days a week are you open? Real simple stuff. So first off, with our example for my business, I want 5 more customers per day. You may want a lot more, you may want less, doesn't matter. 5 more per day, and we're open 5 days a week. Okay, 25, we want 25 customers per week. Then we'll just assume a 4-week month. Sometimes it gets 5, but just assume 4 weeks. So we want 100 customers per month. So do this for your own business, just figure that out. And then for your revenue goal, we won't have to go into this too much, but think about the number of customers you want per month times your average customer ticket, whether that's $50 a customer or $5,000, whatever that is, multiply those two together. There's your goal. That's easy. So if you haven't done that, do that. Pretty simple. And then, but we had the goal, but how many leads do you need to get there? Okay. So when you think about leads, what you need to think about is how many people, of all the people who call you or request information on your website or wherever it is that your presence is at, how many people become a customer? So is it 2 out of 10? Is it 5 out of 10? So for our example today, we'll say it's 5 out of 10. Now some businesses I talk to are actually pretty high, depending on their kind of local branding. But let's just say it's 5 out of 10. And for us, here's a little equation. It's kind of complex, but let's say our goal is 100 divided by 50%, 200. So we need 200 leads to reach our goal. Okay, obviously it's going to be different for you. Now, of those, how many monthly, okay, now you have your monthly leads, you need 200. So now let's determine our monthly lead cost. So we know what we want. We know the number of leads we need to get, but how much will it cost? Well, what you need to do is look at the average lead cost for your business, and this can range widely. Some businesses will cost a lot more, but for us, let's just say we see a lot that costs between $10 to $20 a lead when we're talking online. So for us, just make it simple. Let's say it's $10 a lead. So 200 times 10, $2,000. Now, for you, if you're not advertising, you may think, well, that's a lot of money, whatever. But that's the ultimate goal for you. Now you can say, oh, all I gotta do is spend this much money to get the leads to get the goal. So it's kind of backtracking. All right, we're almost done with the math. So now how do you get those leads? That's what we'll be talking about for the rest of this time. How to get those leads. These are really the keys to attracting more customers. So this is talking about online acquisition, right? So really the first key is your online presence. There's no way you're going to get customers online if your business is not online. So you would be surprised, but if you you basically need a website. Google, this used to be called Google Places, Google My Business. It's now Google Business Profile, Google Maps, it's all the same thing. And then Facebook Business. Now there are a lot of other places your business can resonate, of course, but these are really the core places where Google would say, okay, they're a good business, I'm gonna show their website. So that's the first piece. If you don't have these, obviously you need to get those. We could talk a lot about each one of these, but let's see. Real quick, Google Business Profile is Google Maps. So earlier we talked about if someone pulls up Google Maps and looks for a restaurant or pizza or whatever, that's where you're gonna be. If you don't have Google Maps, there's no way for someone to find you there. The next is Facebook business page. Now, this again is where your business is on Facebook. It's also free to set up. You can set it up in 10 minutes. So it's also the key to running ads. You need Facebook business to run ads. I would also tell you that if you're running your business on your personal page, you can do that somewhat. You can somewhat get away with it, but really you want it on the business page side in order to run ads properly, and so that Facebook doesn't shut your account down. All right, so I don't know if you can see this very well, but this is kind of what I see a lot is on the left side is what most businesses have, is they have the website, they have the Google business, they have the Facebook, but they're kind of missing the ways to drive traffic to those. So you can have all those, that's great, but it's kind of like if you have a beautiful sign outside your business, but no one sees it, it doesn't do you a lot of good. So you have to have ways to show that beautiful sign to people. And really that's going to be one of these two, Google, Facebook, typically. And then I like to say the automated follow-ups. Now, you might say, where should I advertise? Well, you want to advertise on the platform that your customers are using, that your audience is using. And we will talk about that real quick. The two places that I'm going to recommend to you, but this is kind of a generality. The first one will be Google Ads. Now, Google Ads is, once again, getting in front of those customers who are searching for your business. I've got a few examples here for you. And of course, you'll say, should my business use Google Ads? Well, there's a really easy way to find out. But the first question for that is, are your customers looking for your business on Google at all? Well, how do you find that? That's actually really easy. We could look that up in about 10 minutes. And basically, it's called Google Keyword Planner if you're not familiar with this. There's other tools out there, but it's free to use. You can go in there, plug in your location, where your services are at, plug in your service or product, and it'll tell you how many people are searching. So that is a very fast demand signal to find that answer out. And here's an example. So anybody have a med spa in here? Oh, here you go. Okay, so if you're in Springfield, this is a great data point. 95,000 people or searches every single month, just Springfield, kind of down to Branson. So that's interesting to know. 95,000 people are searching, and it tells you how much those clicks cost. So if you know that many people are searching, well, maybe you should be on Google in front of those people searching. There's other ways to do it, but that's a good data point for you to know. You can do that with any product or service you have. You may find out that, well, there's not that many people searching. If you're in a very small town, it may not be applicable. But for most people, it does work. Now here's Google Maps. Hopefully you're all kind of familiar with this. It may be kind of hard to see, but in that top position is where the business is running an ad. You might see a little sponsored up there. That basically, when you're running that ad, you get to the #1 spot. Some people might think, well, it says sponsored, people skip it. That might be true for some people, but for the most part, that first position, people just click it and call or go to their website without even looking at it. They won't even pay attention. Does it mean it's the best business? Well, no. There's a few down lower that have higher reviews. So it means that you can be the #1 spot above other people by running that ad. So it's an easy way to kind of level the playing field with that other business out there. All right, so how can Google Ads help your business? We can't really go through all the technicalities of setting this up, but how can it help you? And what we want to do is we want to get leads to fill that lead pipeline to reach your goal. So for most people out there, the leads will come from either phone calls, or we say quote request or consult request, whatever it is your business does, whether it does an appointment, stuff like that. It's getting them to fill out their information, their name, email, phone number, whatever it is your service is, and requesting that. Because most people won't just go on there and click buy. So they probably want information, and this is also true for nonprofits. Here's a little tip, wasn't in the notes, but if you're a nonprofit, you can actually get, I believe it's about $10,000 a month for free from Google. So if you're not using that for nonprofits, go on there, sign up. We were actually able to leverage that with another nonprofit I was at and basically spend about $10,000 a month for free. So that'd be interesting to know. Okay, so leads is what you want with Google Ads. The next piece is Facebook ads. So Facebook, as opposed to Google is people searching, Facebook is people wasting time all day long. Anybody on here Facebook right now while I'm talking? So chances are good that your audience got up in the morning, they may have checked Facebook before they brushed their teeth, but they looked at Facebook in the morning, they looked at it on the way they're driving, they looked at it at work, they looked at it at home. So your target audience is most likely using Facebook, and we can actually look it up and prove it. Some people might say, well, my target audience is using TikTok. Maybe they are, but they're spending money on Facebook. So keep that in mind. This is people who are wasting time all day. And you can target them. Remember, Facebook knows about 52,000 points on you. And it's not just Facebook. If you say, well, I use Instagram, it's the same ad platform. So it's Facebook, Instagram, it's that marketplace, all these, 14 to 20 different locations. So that's kind of the key. You might say, hey, I do Facebook posts, but no one sees them. And that's true. It's not because they don't care, it's because Facebook will not push it, typically, on your business page. So on your business page, you need to keep in mind that only about 5%, it's really like 2 to 6% of your followers ever see your post. So if you have 100 followers, 2 to 6 people see it. 1,000, 20 to 60 people. It's the same people, it's mom and my friends who like it and comment on it. And that's not the point. The point is that you can run an ad and get it to all your target audience. Your mom and your parents and your friends are not your audience. It's the people who are going to spend money. So you do need the page, but you need it primarily to run the ad. So I'm going to talk about that here in a second. The key to Facebook ads is that you can reach your target audience fast. You can reach those people who are likely to spend money with you. And let me give you an example. We talked about barbershops, but let me talk about a hair salon real quick. I think I skipped it, but okay, so really when you're running a Facebook ad, you want to set it up correctly. And what I will tell you is if you have a Facebook page, a lot of times it's going to say, hey, click boost and post and boost that ad. It's a major problem. I've actually gotten clients because of that. You'll have a person who clicks boost on one side of the coast. I see their ad on the other side and say, hey, you want to come detail my car over here? Be great. And so they're just clicking it to make it easy. And Google does the same thing. So be careful. You can do stuff like that, but you have to make sure all the targeting is set up correctly. So anyways, getting back to the objective, Facebook gives you what you ask for. They have about 6 to 10 different objectives, and it changes a lot, but the major ones are engagement, traffic, leads, sales. For us, remember what we want is we want leads. We want people who are going to give us their information and going to hopefully buy, but give us their information first. And if you're asking for someone to click on your ad or engage with it, that's what they're going to do. They're going to give your ad to people who are most likely to comment on it. But that's not what you want. You want people who are most likely to fill out your information and give it to you so that you can contact them and hopefully get their money. So when you do this, you want to select leads. You do need to have it all set up. Okay, there's the hair salon example. If we think about the hair salon example, I would say, well, who comes and who's your audience? Who are your customers? They might say, well, I can cut hair for kids and I can do hair for women and men and everyone. But that's not the point. The point is who spends the most money with you? Who would you prefer? And then they might say, well, okay, it's women 35 to 55. It doesn't mean that the other people don't spend money, but those people are the ones who are spending the most money. I know because I've got one in that age. So anyway, you want to target those people, and you might say, oh, 18-year-olds do it, but you want to target the people who are actually going to spend the money with you. And again, who's my target audience? He talked about that on the last presentation a lot, but you can narrow it down, and Facebook gives you great options. You can say, hey, I want to only target people in Nixa or Springfield, wherever you're at, only in this certain zip code, this neighborhood. It can get down to a 1 mile radius. You can target people in certain age groups, men only, women only, upper incomes. Wouldn't that be nice? People who like BMWs, people who like these certain cars. So when you're targeting those people, you're more likely to reach the people who will spend money. That's kind of the point. So who spends money with my business? And then how far away are they going to come? Be careful, the default setting is US. You don't want to show your ad across the country. Make sure you're targeting down, and you'll see that the audience decreases as you do this. I would also add to this that you can exclude countries, exclude everywhere else, exclude Mexico, South America, everywhere else. It's actually pretty easy to do that. Then you eliminate those kind of fake clicks and all that stuff. So how can it help you? Once again, just like Google, Facebook, we can get leads. That would be my primary recommendation for people is leads by a lead form or messenger. And those are simple to set up. The lead form is a little bit more complex. You want to link it to your CRM if you have one of those. and set up the next piece will be automated follow-ups. But Messenger is also easy to set up. Local branding is one I will touch on because it's actually simple to do without the lead part. So local branding, even if you've never advertised before, if you don't have much of a budget, it's a great way to get your face and name out there. So using the hair salon example, you could set up all this targeting and run $1 a day. So have a video, you can run $1 a day. It doesn't seem like much, but what you can do is then, if someone sees your face, that video for 3 seconds, you can then retarget them again. And if you think about places, think about ads you've seen on TV. If you see a person's face over and over and over again, you kind of trust them. You've never met them, but now you trust this guy who's selling mattresses or selling tires. It makes no sense, but you trust him because you've seen him. Same thing with your own personal brand, whether it's a nonprofit or a business. If people see your face over and over and over again, they're going to trust you. And here is kind of what, I don't know if you can see it, but this person, an example kind of what we did before, he just ran $1 a day on each of these videos, and one video, people see it, they then see all the rest of the videos. What happens is he goes around town, which is actually a pretty populated area, saying, hey Richie, I saw your ad out there, man. So it's people who don't even know you will recognize you. It is kind of creepy, but it's getting your face out there, getting your brand to be trusted. That's kind of the point. You want your brand to dominate that local area. It's an easy way to do it. I think that was $150 a day. $150 a month, not a day, sorry. And in that example, that was 17,000 video views. Could that help your business? Okay. So how long does it take to work? You know, with Google ads, it can take a little bit of time. You need data to get clicks and conversions. With Facebook ads, if it's set up correctly, you can get leads the same day. So if it's set up correctly, dialed in correctly, you can start getting leads the same day. With the local branding piece, again, it's going to get out there pretty quick and people will see it. You can start retargeting people, getting that creepy factor of your face everywhere. So it can start working pretty fast. But at the same time, if you're dumping money into it, but you're showing it across the US with the incorrect settings, it will also spend a lot of money fast. So just be careful on that. So yeah, you can have leads the same day. But again, you do need to monitor it and test it. You know, don't just set it and forget it, and next thing you know, you have a big bill. You really do need to be looking at these things kind of daily, weekly, to make sure it's working correctly. As far as the cost goes, you know, you can use that $1 a day strategy. If you're trying to get leads, you really need to start about $15 to $20 a day per ad. So for some people that might be a little bit, some people that might be a lot. People can spend hundreds or thousands a day, but the key is it's set up correctly. Leads you need to probably start about $15 to $20 a day for that to get leads. Okay, AI, automated follow-ups. We could spend quite a lot of time on this, but the key to think about this is whenever you have forms that people are filling out on Facebook, YouTube, your website, Google ads, any place where a form is at, where someone fills it out, you want to have an automation to have an instant follow-up. Because you're paying for these ads, or whether you're not paying for ads, if you just have it on your website, you don't want a lead to go unanswered. You know, last thing you want is someone to request information and you can't get back to them for a week. That's where these automated follow-ups can help you. And here's an example on a Facebook form. Someone fills out your form, instantly you can send them a text, an email, a voicemail, which is kind of creepy again, but you can send them a voicemail. It seemed like you call them and get that factor. Obviously you do want to call them back, but sometimes you can't call them back at 2 in the morning when they fill this out. So that's just something to keep in mind as you're running these ads. Same thing if you have a form on your website, have it where it automatically sends them a text, an email, voicemail, etc. Gives them the next steps. The other piece would be AI stuff. So with AI, you can do a lot of these pieces. I will give you a couple pieces that you can use with AI, which would be kind of chat. So we're seeing a lot of things with AI chat bots, AI voice, SMS. The AI voice is a little bit more complicated, a little less reliable. The AI text is pretty robust right now, pretty reliable. People will interact with that thing like it's a person. In fact, they're asking them questions like it's their friend. It's kind of weird. But at the same time, they're booking appointments. That is the major benefit we're seeing, is that it's able to book appointments and save you time. So yes, you should be calling them back, but instead of you having to spend hours calling people back, a lot of times your AI bot can do the same work for you. So consider integrating that into your business, especially if you have leads coming in. Obviously, there's things like videos and ChatGPT, these other things that AI can help you with. Let me see. Yeah, so if you're doing videos, there's so many AI platforms now where you can literally duplicate your face and create hundreds of videos right away. So I don't really have time to go into all the software right now, but you could, whereas you're paying video production personnel a lot of money, you can now do this on your own. Just have automated text. You can turn these into multiple videos across lots of platforms. Use it for podcasts, stuff like that. So there's a lot of application out there, especially as a small business owner, to save that time. Or if you're solo, if you're kind of a small business, you can use this to basically maximize your time and leverage that capability. Here's a quick content strategy. So this isn't necessarily with ads, but if you're not running ads, I would still encourage any business to do this. And the best way to think about this is create your own reality show, right? And most people in here, most business owners, do not like to show their face on a video, but at least most people I talk to. But if you think about all the kind of weird reality shows out there, there's shows about everything, and people watch it, right? It's kind of creepy, but if they can do that, then why can't you make your own business that? And you can do this really, really simply. Pull out your phone, do a video. You could do a video right now. You could do a video driving. Make your business a reality show that people will tune into. So with one video, you can put this across 10 different platforms. You can put it about 3 or 4 places on Facebook post, Reels, Stories, the integrated videos. You can do YouTube, TikTok, all these places. And with that one video, imagine if you're doing a video a day, which can be a lot, but it's 25 a month. But now it's about 10 different places, so it's 250 a month. So tons of content, and the point is, as your content is out there, people are knowing you, liking you, trusting you without ever seeing you. They're like, oh, there's that guy, I see him all the time. And now he's gonna hopefully call you for that service. So that's an easy way to do it. And if you're wondering what to do, some examples up there would be videos about the owner. Maybe it's you, with the manager, with your employees, talking to your employees. Hey, it's Bill, he's been here for 3 years. About your customers, with your customers, about your service or product. I will say if you interview people who are employees or customers, clients, you might want to get a waiver for that, get a media disclosure for that. So, but again, those right there, people say, a lot of times people say, I don't know what to do a video on. Right there, I just gave you infinite ideas. You can never run out of ideas if you talk about that right there every single day. And you can also do lives. So, let's see. All right, so there's really the growth process, kind of in a nutshell. The advertising really helps to get your leads. If you're wondering, where are my customers? They're out there, they just don't know you. If that's all, any question at all, they're out there, they don't know you. The key is advertising. It doesn't have to be a lot of money per month. It can be a little bit on Facebook or Google. Some leads turn into customers, some don't. But really the leads that you want are phone calls or that quote request, that request on your website, whatever that request might be for you. Even if you're a nonprofit, this is what you can do. So really the overview is, hopefully you identified that revenue goal. Hopefully you can, maybe you had some insights into, oh, I need this number of leads to hit that goal. And then the strategies to get those leads. So really those key components, and we could talk more in the back if you want to discuss anything. With that, if there is any questions, that anyone has about any of that stuff. If not, I will be in the back, and we have some free kind of consult requests, free marketing checklist, and actually, if you want to be on a podcast, you can do that too. So if there's any questions, I do have a couple. I think I have a little bit more time here. There's a couple things here. I'll give you a couple online presence tips. If you have a question, you can raise your hand too.
Do you have any tips or gotchas on kind of bringing down the cost per lead that most people overlook?
Bringing down the cost of?
Cost per lead.
Cost per lead. Okay, so what's the niche?
I'm in weddings.
Weddings, okay. So I mean, not knowing the cost per leads on certain things or what you've done in the past. I mean, typically, obviously the big thing is that Facebook.
Facebook and Google.
So I mean, Facebook and Google would kind of have two different lead costs. Google might be higher, but it's also it's higher intent. These are people who are actually looking for wedding venues. Facebook is people looking at cat videos. So I mean, it's two different people. So you got to keep that in mind. Facebook can be super cheap and easy to get. Google are people who are actually looking for that. So two different things. I mean, real quick for Google, the correct targeting, the correct conversion setup, the correct location settings, all those things. In Google, maximizing all the asset locations you have. Google gives you a lot of places you can put. So if you have it set up correctly, you might have a big page like this on your ad where some people only have a little bit because they didn't fill out everything. So you can fill out every possible place in the Google ad listings in the ad part. So it's assets. For Facebook, once again, leads, the targeting, the placement, stuff like that. Then it's also we call it the copy. So, are you looking for a wedding venue? Are you tired of shopping for a wedding venue? Click here. We have the best prices ever. So, I mean, pictures and videos, but trying out different pictures and videos at the same time. If you may be spending too little. There's a lot of things to look at there, but changing pictures, changing videos. If you have videos and pictures that have been there for a while, it may not work out yet. But I've seen videos that have been there for years that still work well to get leads. So a lot of things to try out on those, on the ads. Yes, ma'am.
How long do you run ads to really be able to determine your return on spend?
If you have,
Like how long before so I know you said you can get immediate results, right? But sometimes some businesses have a longer conversion time than others. So is there a good metric to look, to sort of look at and say, I'm okay spending $1,000 a month on ads because I'm going to get $6,000 in return, right? So how long do I need to look to be able to really determine my return on ad spend?
Yeah, so she said, how long do I need to wait to see my return on ad spend? For me on Facebook ads, if I'm not seeing something within the first few days or week, there's something wrong. So I would never wait weeks or a month. There's something wrong. I mean, like I said, you can get leads the same day or within a few days. There can be other businesses that might take longer, but if it's not working within a few days or a week, also if you're spending $1 a day on leads, it's probably not going to work. But if you spend 20 or more, you should get something. Lawyers, that type of thing can cost more. Legal type stuff can cost more. Certain very technical high cost things can cost more, but I wouldn't wait more than a week to change something. If that answers that question. Question over here. Just yell it out. Oh, yes, sir.
I was just going to talk to you in the back. Great presentation. Tell me, do you provide coaching for the content that you just provided?
Yes.
Okay.
Here's a couple quick tips on website. I think I got a couple minutes I'll go over website, Google, and Facebook stuff. But I don't know if you can actually read it. But when you come to your website, obviously look and see, oh, does it look good? But don't make the first thing that you think about is this a beautiful website? That's great, but does it convert? When you put yourself in your customer's shoes, and when you land on that website, without scrolling, without moving at all, do you know what it is you do? So if I go to the website and it just shows a picture, what does that tell me? What does it do? So we're the #1 auto body shop in Springfield area. Okay, they're a body shop. We provide the beautiful hair women's hair salon, I don't know. So stuff like that. We're the #1 wedding venue in Springfield, Missouri. Okay, great. How do I get that? Click book now or a phone call. So does it answer what you do? And does it provide an immediate way to get in touch with you? If you can't do that right away, then just add those on there. Then make sure your name and my phone number are the same on your website, Facebook, Google. So that's a couple tips. Call to action, stuff like that. Google business, kind of same type of thing. Filling that out completely will really help. Make sure your services are correct in there. You can actually add multiple services and add pictures. And now there's software where you can automatically add pictures for the Google business, Facebook, stuff like that. Add videos. So all these will go to show that tell Google that you are a good business and you're using their platform. The more you comply with their rules, the more they help you. And then try to get reviews. I mean, the reviews are probably the biggest thing if you're not using ads on Google Maps. Making sure it's all filled out. And how do you get reviews? There's software, but ask your customers for a review. Just ask them, because think about, you just went to a great restaurant and like, oh, I'm gonna leave a review. 10 minutes later you forget. Why? I don't know. You saw a squirrel. So I mean, you're probably gonna forget. You just set up some kind of software to automatically remind them. Or send them a manual text. Hey, can you send me a review? Those reviews really help as well. Facebook, same type of thing for the name, address, phone number. Post videos. Okay, here's a good tip for anyone doing videos, like I mentioned before. On your personal page is one thing, but on your business page, it can actually serve the same purpose as a Google search. What I mean by that is you can put a title in that video. You can put descriptions and tags. And now if you say, #1 wedding venue in Springfield, Missouri. Where's the wedding person? So in that video, and then descriptions, that video can actually come up on Google search. But if you just leave it blank, like whatever your phone says, IMG234, it makes no sense. So the same type of thing for there, and YouTube, if you're uploading stuff in there, you can actually rank. So all these videos will serve to help your business rank in that area as well. And then two-factor authentication, set up security so that you don't get your account shut down. Never give anyone else your password. If you want to have somebody use your business page, give them access to it. Don't give them your personal stuff, because then you'll get flagged, probably shut down. I think that's about it. Okay. I could go over more stuff, but any more questions? Yes, sir.
How much of your budget or focus do you encourage a person to put toward buying out people versus ones you'll nurture and becoming customers later?
I'd say it depends on your budget, first off. It depends on how much you're spending. If you're not spending anything and it's your only thing that you're spending it on, then I would probably allocate it towards that. Not buy now, but book an appointment or whatever that is. Is it a product or is it a service?
Both for me, but yeah, just in general, are they there with their credit card out? It sounds like a Google thing.
Yeah.
But do you do any nurture through Google Ads where you bring them into a network and teach them to be a good customer eventually?
Yes, I mean, in either case, you can go directly to that book an appointment or request a quote, whatever that is for you. You can also go directly to sales. You might need some nurturing on that end. In the past, you really needed to warm up that audience. Now Facebook knows enough that it's like, okay, we can get these leads for you. So you don't necessarily need to spend a lot of money here to let's bring them into it, get them to like our page and all that. You don't need to do that. Just run a lead ad. Just tell Facebook what you want and they can do it for you. Now, if you have a large budget, whatever that means, hundreds, thousands a month, then yeah, you would want to segment some of that, but a lot of businesses don't have that, so yes.
How do you determine return on investment? Because I've had marketing people, not to say anything bad, but they're like, well, if you spent this much and you got a deal for this much, then it's a win. But you're like, well, that deal that I just got is not all gross profits. So how do you run those calculations?
I don't think I've actually got that in a book. I don't have it in the slides, but so if we were to look at, okay, first off would be the total cost that you spent divided by the number of leads. I've got a whole calculator back there. I can do this for, but yeah, it's a good question. Not just how many leads, but what does that turn into? We'd have to plug in. What I do is plug in the leads, the percent that you close. So there's some assumptions, but you could actually put the real numbers that you close, the average cost to the customer, and then the return on investment percentage. Then of course, I mean, if you want that'd just be the straight marketing piece. If you wanted to add in the whole profit margin piece, that'd be a little bit more complex. But I do have a calculator back there for that. Oh, I got 2 minutes according to this.
We're about 5 minutes over on this.
Sorry, I could talk all day about this stuff, but if any more questions, please come back and see me. Thank you.
All right. Yeah.